This is Lee again, and today what we're going to do is learn how to open your Open Rocket and pull up a saved file. Then we'll add in our motor and our fins onto the rocket that we've already created. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we'll open Rocket, and there it comes. It's taking a little while, I don't know why. There it is. Alright, so here we've got Open Rocket again. Now if you didn't save your rocket earlier, well, you'll have to start all over again. But I did, so I'm going to File, and I've got some things I can do here. I can open an example rocket, which is one that comes already loaded in. I can open a recent one, which I'm going to do in just a minute, or I can go to Open, which will take me to the File Manager, and I can just open up a version of my rocket. I'm going to open up the last one I did, which is this one. Alright, so here we are with the Lee Tutorial rocket. And what we want to do today first is put our motor mounts in. So we're going to click this last tube. That means I get to go to the tube. And anything I add now will get added to this tube. If I'd clicked up here, anything I add will go here. But I want everything to go here. This is the bottom end of my rocket. So I want it to go here. So I need to add a centering ring. Now a centering ring is just a ring of material that fits in the rocket. It glues in, and it's hollow in the middle, so it looks like a donut basically. And it just makes sure everything's centered in your body tube. My outer diameter needs to be this. My inner diameter, I want that to be 29 millimeters. Well, I'll learn later to do that. 29 millimeters. There we go. We're going to leave it at the bottom of the parent component. We're just not going to move it anywhere. We're going to make it out of maple. There's not a thing on here to make things out of like pine. I haven't found pine. And, oh, there it is right there. Huh. So we're going to make it out of pine plywood, or you can make it out of birch plywood. There's not a lot of difference in the density of the two. And with the amount that you're messing with, it wouldn't worry too much. I'd err on the side of too much or not enough or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm going to pick one. Say my mass is 1.06 grams. If I went with the birch plywood, it'd get to 1.26 grams, which is 0.2 of a gram is not a whole lot. So anyway, we're going to do that. We're going to put that in, and then we're going to put another one in. We're going to need to have two of them, because if you only have one, it's not going to hold your motor mount in there. So my outer diameter is the same. This, I'm going to change that to millimeters, to 2.9. And the reason I chose 29 is because I'm going to try to get a 29 millimeter motor to fit in. I'm going to change this to, what do we use? Pine or plywood, birch. Makes no difference. I'll close that because I really don't care about doing that right now. And I'm not going to put it at the bottom because that's where the other one is. I'm going to put it up this way about 2 inches, which is right at 5-ish centimeters. There we go. All right, so it fits in just like that. There we go. Now I've got a centering ring set up. And the next step now is to add an inner tube, and that's where my motor is going to go. I'm going to take that and put it in. We're going to make that outer diameter 29 millimeters. All right. And everything fits there. We're going to make it even with the bottom, and we're going to make it out of cardboard. And we're going to say that this component is a motor mount. So we click motor. We'll say this component is a motor mount. And we're going to let our motor overhang about, we're going to change this to inches so I can tell you. We're going to let it overhang about a 1/2 inch. All right. So the motor hangs out. And ignition, that doesn't really make a difference. All right, so we're going to close that. Now, we have almost everything. We need some fins. So we're going to go back to this part because that's where the fins are going to go. We're going to add some trapezoidal fins. And here we have a lot of things that we can do. We can have 3 fins. We can have 2 fins, which really doesn't work. We can have 4 fins. Let's try 4 fins. Okay. We have fin rotation. That just changes the angle of the first fin. Our cant, how much they're slanted. Our root chord, that's the length of this part. Our tip chord is, I believe, the height there. Or that's our height, sorry. Our tip chord is how long that is. Our sweep length, or sweep angle, we can change the angle. We want ours relative to the bottom of the parent component. Now, if we're looking, our stability right now is negative 1.26 cal, which is not really good. So we're going to make our fins a little bit bigger. Right now, we change this to inches. It's a little bit over an inch tall. So from there to there is almost an inch. Let's change that to 2 inches. Notice now our stability gets a little bit better. We're getting closer to 1. We're going to make our root chord right now. It's at about 2 inches, give or take a little bit. So we're going to make that 3. And what that does is it gives us a little more length, just a little more area. Our stability went down some though, so let's make that a little bit more than 3. Let's go with 4 inches. All right, that really took our stability down. So let's change this. We can slide things and see what it does to our stability. All right, and let's make our height a little bit more. We get up to 3 inches. We're at 1 cal right now. We can change our rotation. Let's not change that. Our cant. No, let's keep it straight. Right on. All right. We're going to change our sweep length. We can sweep it down back this way some. Our angle. We can change our angle. All right. So that looks cool. Let's change our material to maple, or well, we don't have the plywood. There it is, birch plywood. I'll change it to that. We're going to have them painted. We're going to have some fillets in here in a little bit. Fillets are where you fill in between where the root connect, or where the fin connects to the body tube, and you make it kind of smooth. Okay. We're going to close that. All right, so now we have a rocket. The length is good. Stability's good. Everything looks pretty good on it. So we're going to save it, and then we'll come back in just a little bit and add motors. All right. What you might do. Oh, yeah, we need to add in our payloads, don't we? Let's not forget that. Let's take our payload bay, and now let's add some payloads. That is my fault. I messed up there big time. We're going to put an egg in, and it doesn't say anything about egg here, but it does say mass components. We're going to click that, and we're going to change its name to, egg. All right. Now your egg in torque has to be somewhere around 60 grams. So we're going to put that in. And really, we don't need to know the density and the length and diameter. That's about right for an egg, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Doesn't really make a difference. We're going to put the egg right here and close it. If we want to change where the egg is, we certainly can. Now we need another mass component, and we're going to call this altimeter. And the different altimeters have different masses. I'm going to put 30 grams for an altimeter. You'll need to check that yourself. We're going to slide it down to about right there. With any of these components, my suggestion is don't just take what it says. So for your nose cone, it says that your nose cone has a mass of 0.628 grams. My suggestion is you take a balance and take the mass of your nose cone, and then you can override this right here. And you can put in what you really get. And that way you're going to do a whole lot better job with your rocket instead of just using whatever they come up with. All right, we need to put in a parachute. So I'm going to put one parachute attached to this, my transition. And I'm not changing anything here, but you can change a lot of things. You can change the diameter of your parachute. You can change the material. You can change the number of lines, the length of your lines, the material that you make your lines out of. You can change a lot of different things. You can also change the mass. So if you want to put a mass in there. So let's say that the mass, it says 7.8 grams. We're not going to do that. It may or may not be. It may be more than that, maybe less than that. We're going to do that. And let's check that parachute again. Let's move it from where it is to back here a ways, right in there. That's where we're going to put it, right there at the end. All right, so we've got a parachute. This is going to have a streamer. We're going to add that. Looks good. Where are we going to put it? Right at the top. Looks good. Let's slide it down to right about there. Okay. So now we've got an egg. We've got an altimeter. We've got a parachute for the top, a streamer for the bottom. We've got a motor mount and fins in. That takes us all the way to the end of this lesson. Next, we'll put in a motor, and then we'll do some flight simulations. All right? All right, that takes us to the end of today. Thanks, y'all.